Alright, in this video I'm going to go over the basic posture things we discussed in the first Drunken Fiddles class. So I put tapes on your violin for the fingers here, and you should have 3 tapes. One for your first finger, which is your finger next to your thumb, and the second one is for your second finger, and your third finger goes next. And you should put your fingers right at the edge of the tape. So you can see when I play third finger, in order to play in tune, my third finger doesn't go beyond that line there. So you don't want to be, I'm on the tape, but actually I'm cutting the note off here, and that is actually going to be out of tune. It's going to be sharp. So you have open, which is no fingers, and then 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so holding the violin, I recommend getting a shoulder rest that you put on the back of your violin. I just slide mine on like this. And the kind that I recommend is the Everest brand, although you can try out several different ones and see what's comfortable for you. Everybody's a little different. But when you put it on, you want it to be like a frown. This shoulder rest doesn't show that as much, but it would make the frown shape if you're holding your violin up like that. Okay, so that helps to hold your violin with just your head. It should be mostly head that's holding your violin. Your head's just this 10-pound weight that you can just lean in. And if you don't have a shoulder rest, the violin tends to slip. Some people don't use them, but I find that most everyone uses some sort of padding or some sort of support to help them hold up their fiddle. But once again, it's up to you. So when you have your left hand at the shoulder, you can easily slide it into our playing position, and you have a C-shape hand here with a straight wrist, so you never want to bend it like this. And over bending it the other way isn't great also. So when you place your hand, you put your thumb somewhere in between the red tape and what I call the nut here. And I don't just call it that, that's what it's actually called. But this ridge here that raises up the strings, your thumb can go wherever it feels most comfortable in that range. So, got my thumb there, then I place the bottom of my index finger here, and I have a little bit of a space here, so I'm not holding it in the crux of my fingers here, but just mostly supporting with the head. The head is turned at an angle, so you feel like your nose is looking down the fingerboard. You don't want to have your violin out where it's easy to see in front of you, because that just brings your arm around in this really awkward, uncomfortable position. So we're out here where it's much more free. Okay, so once you have your hand set up, then you need to bring your fingers around so they're all floating over the string. So I'm just rotating everything, and my thumb is just going to kind of turn on its side. So it's like that C-shaped hand with my fingers easily reaching over the fingerboard. Okay, so that is the left hand. The bow's a little harder to get. Takes some work, because really it's supposed to be the most natural hand position that you have, only you're holding a bow. So first of all, I always tell people to start with the hair up. So you're going to be pointing in your right hand, your bow's going to be pointing, the tip here is going to be pointing to the right. And you bend your thumb into the hair next to what's called the ferrule. So your thumb doesn't need to stay. When you play, you'll notice that once you get some flexibility, your thumb will kind of come away and bend in and out, but it should never lock out like this. So I've got my thumb bent into the hair next to the ferrule, which is this little bump here on what's called the frog. This is the frog, and we have the screw over here. So we're bending in. And then we have all of our other fingers just kind of sitting where they would actually naturally want to go. You have your first finger up here, and there's a space here, usually about, oh gosh, maybe 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch. And then you have your other 2 fingers draped over part of the frog, not all the way down, but kind of like a curtain for whatever dot or design you have here. And then you have your pinky sitting on top. Now cellists hold their bows like this with their pinky draped down, but we really need our pinky for balance, so it's right on top. And this is really easy to do when your hair is up like this, is take your pinky on and off and practice setting it on the tip. So all my fingers are nice and curved, nothing is straight. You really want to avoid that. Bend everything. So if the thumb is bent and the pinky is bent, then the rest of your fingers should be in place. So watch those 2 fingers. Those are the 2 crucial ones. When you flip your hand over, you'll feel all that weight going into the pinky here. And if I take my pinky off, you'll see the bow just slips. So that balances our string. And with the index finger here, you never want to hook around or grab the stick, but just back here at this first knuckle, just lay it there. So holding your bow like this requires more effort than letting it rest on the string of the violin. And I can relax a little bit more. I still have my thumb bent there, and my pinky's nice and curved. Never straight, always curved. Okay, when you bow, you want to make sure your bow is tight enough. This isn't tight, but tight enough so that when you play, you're not letting the stick drag along the string. You can still see I have a flexible bend here in the bow. You don't want to go too tight, which would be having 2 parallel lines, or the other way, that's too tight, where the bow's really bending back the other way. So it bends into the hair. So it should be nice and flexible. And just practice bowing on each string. So we have our E string here. And our A string. Just nice straight bows using the whole bow. Our D string is next. And then our G string. And that string is a little sharp. And I mean flat. Okay, so you can just practice those long bows, and then when you feel comfortable, you can go on to the C scale, which will be the next video.